Were you all were here yesterday? All of you? Not all. Yes, some did. Jacob, uh, the chief yesterday. So yesterday that I mentioned on the first day we walked and then I saw the Bhikkhu. Then that is when I shed tears because my feet hurt so bad I could not walk anymore. So when I hang on into the other monk's shoulder trying to get the support to walk in, and they pushed me away. And then from there I learned that in this samsara, in this journey, we have to walk on our own feet. We cannot depend on anyone else. So when the monks pushed my hands away and they continued walking on their path and then left me behind, and every step I made was just tears shedding. And then when I think about it and I told myself, this is the teaching that the venerable monks, which is my Dhamma brothers, are teaching me. It's not about aid, it's not about not giving support. They are giving me a lesson to learn because of this samsara I need to walk on my own. By that time, all the images of my father and mother, brother and sister, and all my nephew and nieces, and all the people that I know that is coming to my mind at that time, seeing them, each and every single one of them passing away, and we have to suffer because of liberation, because of not living with our loved ones. Regardless of how much we love each other, regardless of how much we try and we work hard to gain in this world, at the end when we pass away, we have to let go of everything, and even the burden on our shirt we cannot carry with us. And then all the teachings of the teachers, the great teachers come to my mind as well. And all those times where I practiced under the guidance of the meditation teachers at my master, they all came to my mind, rose through my mind one after another. And at the end of that, all those thoughts, and I come to the solution, the final solution for myself. I said, all these teachings, all this learning, we have to take that and then practice for our own. And then after the practice, we have to walk on our own path. We cannot pull on their shirt or they cannot. And then I decided to walk on my toes. I use 10 toes to walk because it's very painful down there under my feet. And then whenever I use my toe and it drop down because of the weight on my toe as well, and when my feet drop down, touch the gravel underneath of my feet, and the pain feeling is like 10 times different. So all those pain, all those hurtful sensations, and my tears continue to shed, and I try my best to walk to this campsite area. And then after I arrive to the campsite area and I look at the bottom of my feet, I see a lot of blisters, big blisters. I don't know what to do with it. I didn't know. I have no experience whatsoever. And then I tried to walk around, see all the monks around me, and I saw them using the needles, and they poke into their blister pot, and then they squeeze all those water out. Okay, and I asked, what are you doing? And they tell me to show them my feet. And I showed them and they put me down. And they gave me a needle. Tell me to poke it. And then when I use the needle, and I just like this, afraid of her. I had no experience. And they see me doing that and they just hold the needle and poke into that blister and all the blood and the water came out. And then at that time, there's one thought pop up in my head, thinking that this is very minor. All these blistering, which is minor. What about in the future if I get cancer? If I get any type of illness that is much, much worse than these blisters, how are we going to deal with all this? If I cannot deal with this minor painful feeling now, when I'm lying on bed with sickness, what I'm gonna do? Am I just gonna lie there and cry and then tell the people that I'm very painful? And then at the end, when we die, we just die directly to the fourth country's suffering worlds. And that is the first day that I work on myself, work on my mind, try to overcome all the difficulties, all the challenges. And then the next day continue, he also walk very fast and he walk even longer, 45 kilometers a day. And that wear me out so much. And I look at him, he's still walking on barefoot and he walked really like nothing wrong with him. So I admire him so much during the walk. And then comes to days when I encounter illness, which is coughing, diarrhea, vomiting, all those things. And then those days when I was so sick, and I had left behind, I walked on my own, and my kids, I have no clue where they are. They walked very fast and they left me behind, and I was like, where I'm going, and what is that I lost? I don't know where the way, so I just follow and then ask the people along the road. They just point in that direction, so I just walk that direction, trying to catch up with my team. Then day after day, just go on just like that until when we reach to Bulgaria. That is the first time after 20 days we reached to Bulgaria by the Ganchi, the river, which is very no water, only sand. And then when we get to that river, and we look far, we can see the stupa, the Mahabodhi temple. We see the stupa, and I look at that stupa, and I imagine a Buddha is staying there waiting for us. While walking and looking at the stupa and cries, so in my mind, I say like this. After 20 days journey of walking, following the footsteps of the Buddha, which he named that, meant that, following the footsteps of the Buddha. This is the first time of my life I get a chance to walk on my own feet, enduring all those challenges, weather, sickness, and all everything. And I was able to complete it 20 days, the first 20 days to get here on my own feet and strength. With these meritorious deeds, I respectfully offer to our Lord Buddha, may you guide me and along with all the venerable monks on this path to continue and finish this journey to bring happiness to the beings. Then when we step by step we reach to the Bodhgaya, to go inside the Bodhi tree, where the sap under that tree became mine. I found my own spot, which is 7 years ago, counting to that time, that I also kneel down in that right spot and I make a vow to do the Dhamma Jedi in the future. 7 years later, I came back and kneel down at the same spot. And thinking of that vow that I made 7 years ago, and I pay respect to the Buddha, I pay respect to the Bodhi tree, and then continue making vow to support my vow of building the Dhamma Jedi. Now we go back a little bit before we reach to Bulgaria. On day 6, we adopted Aloka. Aloka followed the walk in India on day 6 from Kolkata. After I adopted him, he walked along with us, and then he got lost many times. And when we reached to Bodh when he met Soul, the dog that followed Janpawat for many years, and then when they both met, Aloka get to meet with his brother Soul, and then day after day, we spent 3 days in Bodh and during those 3 days, Aloka got lost in Bodh as well. So Aloka's story, he was a stray dog from Kolkata, same like many other dogs that follow us during the walk. Many dog followers, not just Aloka, but all of them dropped out after several days. Only Aloka be able to keep up with us. But of course, if we don't come back for him, then he will be the same as the other dogs. Because when he gets tired, he sleeps and he forgot everything. We don't want to get up to continue walk. And then when we walk, there's like 5 kilometers already. I have to return to look for him as well. That is the story of Aloka from those first days until Bodh Gaya, and he get lost and he fight with other dogs in Bodh Gaya as well. And so I think that today we don't have much time left for today. And we will start the topic from here, and then we'll continue later. And I name him as Aloka. Aloka is one of the methods in the samadhi practicing Vipassana. And Aloka is light. The reason why I name Aloka as light is because I want him to find the light of wisdom. So soon he will liberate that animal rim. He will be born as a human being again and practice the Buddha Dhamma to enlightenment and to attain the blissfulness of Nibbana. That is the reason why I named him as Aloka. Thank you so much for your time and effort to come here today this morning. After Dana, and we will all be happy, be peaceful. So,
เจริญพรอนุโมทนาบุญกับทุกท่านที่ใช้เวลาในเวลาชีวิตที่ทรงคุณค่ากิจกรรมที่ทำในโลกใบนี้แล้วสามารถสืบเนื่องไปสู่
Life is, in its most profound essence, a sacred pilgrimage. We often reserve the word pilgrimage for grand, sweeping journeys to distant lands, walking the Camino de Santiago, traveling to the ancient temples of Kyoto, or wandering the dusty, sacred roads of India. We imagine these journeys as something outside of our normal existence, a temporary departure from the mundane where spiritual awakenings are waiting to happen. But the beautiful, undeniable truth is that you are on a pilgrimage right now. Every morning you wake up, put your feet on the floor, and step into the world, you are walking a spiritual path. The challenges you face at work, the quiet struggles in your relationships, the unexpected illnesses, and the inevitable moments of deep grief are not interruptions to your spiritual life. They are the very terrain of your journey. The path is not always paved, and it is rarely easy. It is filled with uneven gravel, scorching sun, and moments where we feel so utterly exhausted that we do not know how we can possibly take another step. By looking deeply at the ancient tradition of the walking pilgrimage, specifically the grueling, transformative journey through the heart of India, we can find a profound mirror for our own human experience. We can discover how to face our ultimate challenges with grace, how to cultivate an unshakable inner self-reliance, and how to walk the sacred path of our own lives with a heart full of compassion and profound peace. When we are exhausted and in pain, our deepest instinct is to reach out and ask someone else to carry our burden. During a grueling walking pilgrimage, when the body is broken and the destination seems impossibly far, this instinct becomes overwhelming. Imagine walking for hours under a punishing sun, your feet bruised and aching with every step, and realizing you still have hundreds of meters left to go on a road made of sharp gravel. In such a moment of sheer agony, the natural human response is to lean on someone else, to grab hold of a fellow traveler's arm and beg for physical support. But sometimes, the greatest act of love someone can offer us is to gently, firmly push our hand away. When fellow monks refuse to carry a struggling brother, choosing instead to continue walking on their own, it is not an act of cruelty or abandonment. It is a profound, albeit harsh, teaching. It is a reminder that in this grand journey of life, we must ultimately walk on our own 2 feet. We are deeply blessed by the friends, family, and teachers who walk alongside us, who share their wisdom and offer their comforting presence. But no one else can do our inner work for us. No one can process our grief, digest our anger, or breathe our breaths. When the road is sharpest and our spirits are lowest, we must dig deep within ourselves to find the strength to take the next step. True spiritual liberation is not something that can be handed to us or carried for us. It is a profound independence forged in the fires of our own endurance. As we endure these lonely, painful stretches of the road, our minds inevitably turn to the people we love most. In the silence of suffering, vivid images of our parents, our siblings, our nieces and nephews, and our dearest friends often arise. We realize with a sudden, piercing clarity that every single person we hold dear is subject to the inescapable truth of impermanence. One day, they will pass away, and one day, so will we. So much of the suffering we experience in this world stems from our desperate attempt to hold on to things that are fundamentally fleeting. We spend our days working tirelessly, accumulating wealth, status, and possessions, believing that these things will somehow secure us against the inevitable. We worry over trivial matters and lose sleep over temporary setbacks. Yet, the stark, humbling reality of our existence is that when we take our final breath, we must let go of absolutely everything. All the riches, all the accomplishments, and all the worldly attachments dissolve. As the saying goes, we cannot even take the button on our shirt with us. Embracing this truth is not meant to be morbid or depressing, rather, it is immensely liberating. When we truly understand that everything is temporary, we stop clinging so tightly. We love our families more deeply because we know our time with them is precious and brief. We stop wasting our energy on petty grievances and instead focus on cultivating the inner qualities, mindfulness, compassion, and peace, that truly matter. This brings us to the blisters of life. On a physical pilgrimage, the friction of the road inevitably produces painful, swelling blisters on the soles of the feet. Every step becomes an exercise in agony, forcing a walker to hobble on their toes just to spare the wounded skin, only to feel a shockwave of pain when the heel inevitably drops back down onto the gravel. It is a terrifying moment to look at your own battered feet and realize you have no idea how to treat the wounds, to watch others casually take a needle to pierce their own flesh, draining the blood and water while you shrink back in fear. But these blisters are profound teachers. They force us to ask a terrifying, necessary question. If we cannot handle a minor, temporary physical pain right now, how will we ever face the monumental crises that lie ahead? Someday, we may be lying in a hospital bed facing a severe illness, or confronting the end of our life. If our reaction to a simple blister is to cry, complain, and mentally collapse, what will we do when true darkness falls? We must view the minor pains, frustrations, and inconveniences of our daily lives as vital training grounds for our spirits. The rude driver, the stressful day at work, the seasonal cold, these are our daily blisters. If we can learn to observe them mindfully, to sit with the discomfort without adding layers of mental suffering and self-pity, we build an inner resilience. We train our minds to remain calm and radiant, preparing ourselves to face life's ultimate challenges with profound dignity and unwavering grace. There will be seasons on this journey when the challenges compound, plunging us into deep valleys of sickness and isolation. You may find yourself struggling with illness, coughing, exhausted, your body failing you when you need it most. In these moments, you may look up and realize that the people you started with are moving much faster than you. They have seemingly boundless energy, striding ahead while you are left behind in the dust, disoriented and alone. You have no map, you do not speak the local language, and you are entirely unsure of which way to turn. This physical experience beautifully mirrors the emotional and spiritual desolation we all face at various points in our lives. We hit roadblocks where our careers stall, our health falters, or our relationships fracture, and we feel entirely left behind by a world that just keeps rushing forward. In these terrifying moments of isolation, panic is easy, but it serves no purpose. When you are lost, all you can do is gently ask for directions from whatever sources of wisdom you can find around you, point your feet in the general direction of your goal, and keep walking. You may have to drag yourself forward, step by aching step, entirely on your own strength. But it is in these very moments of profound vulnerability and isolation that we discover an incredible inner fortitude. We learn to trust our own internal compass, realizing that even when we are moving slowly and painfully, every mindful step forward is a victory. The fuel that keeps us moving through these darkest valleys is the vision of our ultimate destination. Imagine walking for 20 grueling days, battling weather, sickness, and the limits of human endurance, and finally arriving at the edge of a wide, dry, sandy riverbed. You look across the expanse of sand, and there, rising in the distance, is the magnificent spire of the Mahabodhi Stupa, the very place where the Buddha attained enlightenment. The sheer emotional weight of that sight is enough to bring a traveler to their knees. When you fix your eyes on that distant spire, the pain in your feet fades, the exhaustion lifts, and you are filled with a profound sense of purpose. In our daily lives, we must identify what our own stupa is. What is the highest spiritual goal you are walking toward? Is it a mind completely free from anger? Is it a heart capable of boundless, unconditional love? Is it the deep, unshakable peace of nirvana? When the daily grind wears you down, when the blisters of everyday life make you want to quit, you must look up and remember your destination. Keep that vision alive in your mind. Imagine the peace that is waiting for you if you just keep going. That distant light gives meaning to the present struggle, transforming our suffering into a noble, purposeful journey toward awakening. When we finally reach those sacred spaces in our lives, it is vital to remember that the journey is cyclical, deeply rooted in the promises we make to ourselves. Picture arriving at the sacred Bodhi tree and finding the exact spot where, 7 years prior, you knelt and made a solemn vow to dedicate your life to the Dharma. To return to that exact physical space, carrying the weight of the years, the lessons learned, and the pain endured, is a profound homecoming. Vows are the anchors of our spiritual lives. In a modern culture that constantly encourages us to keep our options open and to avoid commitment, the act of making a deep, personal vow is radically grounding. It could be a vow to be more patient with your children, a vow to meditate for 10 minutes every morning, or a vow to cause no harm with your words. Over the years, you will inevitably stumble. You will break your vows and lose your way. But the beauty of the spiritual path is that you can always return to the roots of your original intention. You can metaphorically kneel back down under the Bodhi tree of your own heart, acknowledge how far you have come, and renew your promises. This continuous cycle of committing, stumbling, and recommitting is how we slowly, beautifully carve our spiritual path into existence. Yet, a spiritual path walked entirely for one's own liberation is incomplete. It must eventually blossom into a radiant compassion for all living beings. This truth is perfectly embodied in the story of Aloka, a stray dog who began following the pilgrims. Out of the countless dogs that would join the walk for a few miles and then drop out, falling back into the comfort of sleep and forgetfulness when they grew tired, Aloka kept going. But he didn't do it perfectly. He would get lost, wander off, or fall behind. If the pilgrims had focused only on their own destination, they would have left him. But true mindfulness demands that we turn back. It means walking back 5 kilometers on tired, blistered feet just to find a lost, wandering animal and guide him back to the path. Naming the dog Aloka, which means light, is a beautiful testament to our deepest wish for all beings. We want them to find the light of wisdom, to evolve out of their suffering, and to eventually know the bliss of liberation. In our own lives, we are surrounded by people who are tired, lost, and acting out of their own pain. If we have found even a small measure of peace or strength, it is our sacred responsibility to turn back for them. We must balance our solitary inner work with an expansive, forgiving heart that reaches out to comfort the strays of the world. As you continue to walk the sacred path of your own life, remember that every step is an opportunity to wake up. You have within you the immense strength to walk on your own 2 feet, to bear the blisters of daily frustrations, and to navigate the lonely valleys of hardship and illness. You have the profound capacity to let go of your worldly attachments and to fix your eyes on the highest goals of peace and liberation. And most importantly, you have a heart capable of turning back for those who have lost their way, offering them the light of your own hard-won wisdom. Do not be discouraged by the gravel on the road or the weariness in your bones. The spiritual journey is not about walking perfectly. It is about walking mindfully, continuing to put one foot in front of the other with profound intention and deep compassion. May you embrace every challenge as a teacher, may you hold your vows sacred in your heart, and may you continue this beautiful journey until you reach the ultimate, radiant bliss of true inner peace. May you all be well, may you all be happy, and may your path always be illuminated by the brilliant light of your own awakening.